So you're thinking about moving to Ennis, Montana, or maybe you're exploring the whole Madison Valley area and taking a look at what kinds of properties or land you might be able to find. In this video, we're gonna go right into the pros and cons, the positives and negatives of living in the Madison Valley in and around Ennis, Montana. Hey there, my name is Hallie with Life in Bozeman, Montana. This channel is all about living in and around Bozeman and those surrounding areas here in Southwest Montana, from Ennis to Big Sky to Livingston to Three Forks. If you haven't seen them yet, be sure to check out some of my previous videos where I did a full vlog tour around Ennis and the Madison Valley, as well as a video where I dove into Google Maps and we took a look at some of the different areas and neighborhoods and drove around those as well. So let's get right into those pros and cons of living in and around Ennis. One thing that I get asked about a lot is the weather, especially winters. And I'm gonna touch on that in depth in just a little while, but first I wanted to talk a little bit more about the community of Ennis. First of all, Ennis is small, even smaller than some of the other communities that I've covered previously. The population of Ennis is right around or just above 1,000 residents. For some people, that's a great thing, and for others, not as much. It's also fairly isolated, with the closest larger town of Bozeman being about an hour away on a windy 2-lane highway with limited cell reception along the way. So bigger resources, things like Costco and specialized shopping, additional dining options, and a larger hospital are about an hour away. That small town life isn't for everyone, but the community is tight-knit, you'll get to know your neighbors, and you'll see plenty of friendly faces around town. The schools are all fairly highly rated according to websites like niche.com. There's an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. And the town does have a small medical facility, the Madison Valley Medical Center, that is just on the north side of town. The Madison Valley area is wide open with tons of green space and sparsely populated. There are farms and ranches and homesteads all along the valley following that Madison River north and south along Highway 287. As I mentioned before, that highway is not the easiest. It's not a large interstate, and in inclement weather would not be my first choice for a commute to Bozeman if you were planning to do that. It's doable, but not ideal given the length and the type of road. And it's always best to keep your eye out for animals that may be crossing the road, that sort of thing, especially depending on the time of day. In the morning and evenings in particular, there's more animal activity. The community of Ennis is largely tourism based, being about an hour to the south to West Yellowstone, which is one of the more popular entrances to Yellowstone National Park, with Big Sky Resort almost directly to the east, and with Ennis being known as a prime destination for fly fishing in the summer. The busyness of the town definitely ebbs and flows with the seasons. And while it can be great to have those visitors boost the local economy, some don't love the influx of tourists that come during those peak seasons. With all that tourism, it's also important to know that the closest international or somewhat larger airport, at least for Montana, is about an hour away in Bozeman as well. It's the Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport. So if you fly often or prefer to be closer to an airport, it may not be the greatest place for you. Ennis as a community definitely knows how to put on a great local event. The 4th of July festivities in Ennis are well known around the area and include a Montana favorite rodeo right on the 4th of July. And in the springtime, they put on a wonderful festival called the Tap into Brew and Spirits right there at Willie's Distillery in Ennis. Jobs in Ennis are also fairly seasonal and tourism based. Of course, there's a medical center and the school system and the various shops and restaurants downtown, as well as outdoor guide opportunities. But there are a significant number of residents who work in either Big Sky or Bozeman and make that commute every day. Ennis is also surrounded by mountains and rivers, so outdoor adventure abounds in the Madison Valley. It's definitely known for fly fishing, with more than a dozen fly fishing guides and outfitters right in this small town. The lakes are remarkable as well, with Ennis Lake just north of Ennis in McAllister to the mountain lakes down south along Highway 287, Cliff and Wade Lakes. No matter which one or what you're doing, the views are absolutely spectacular. And the hunting, camping, hiking, biking, and of course fishing are phenomenal all over the Madison Valley. And the wildlife is always awesome to see, sometimes even wandering right downtown. The Madison River runs right through town, but the Big Hole, the Jefferson, the Beaverhead, and the Ruby Rivers are not far away. There are 3 mountain ranges that tower around the valley also. The Gravelly Range, the Madison Range, and the Tobacco Roots all surround Ennis. Of course, there's also a lovely golf course just north of town, and if you head a bit further north, you'll find Norris Hot Springs, with amazing natural mineral hot springs with live music on the weekends. Now, if you're looking for things to do in the Madison Valley or Ennis that aren't outdoor focused, you won't find a lot. There's a wonderful downtown that spans a couple of blocks with dining and small shops, a nearby park, saloons, and art galleries. But you might need to venture out a ways, for instance to Bozeman, to find other options indoors. The cost of living is a big concern among communities in western Montana. And the nice thing about Ennis is that the cost of living is significantly lower than that in Bozeman or Belgrade. It's about 8% higher than the national average, compared to Bozeman being about 22% higher. And a lot of that difference comes from the cost of housing, so real estate costs or rental prices. You're going to get more for your money in the Ennis and Madison Valley area. For example, in the Bozeman and Belgrade areas combined, the current median list price for residential properties is about $818,000, with a median price per square foot of about $402. Of the 66 currently active residential listings in the Madison Valley, including Ennis, the median list price is $730,000, and that median price per square foot is $374. But 40 of those properties, almost 2/3 of those properties in the Madison Valley, are on an acre or more, with the largest one having 380 acres, currently listed at $9.5 million. So before we dive into the weather, as I said, my name is Hallie. I'm a born and raised Bozemanite, helping people to relocate, move, or simply find their place here in Southwest Montana. From Bozeman to Ennis to Big Sky to Three Forks to Livingston and everywhere in between. My email and phone number are right here, or you can of course visit the link in the description to learn a little bit more or get in touch that way. And of course, we can set up a one-on-one call at any time. I'm here to help you find the right place for you so that you can fall in love with this place the same way that I do. I wouldn't want you ending up in the wrong spot, so be sure to jot that information down and feel free to get in touch. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I've got a new video every single week, so if you want the best videos all about living here all over Bozeman, Montana and the surrounding small towns here in Southwest Montana, subscribe. So the weather and winter is definitely something I get asked about a lot. And depending on who you are, what your preferences are, what you're used to, that can be either a pro or a con. It's no secret that Montana can have intense winters, with the cold, the snow, the wind, and the shorter days and long, dark nights. Winter is our longest season by far, beginning sometime in November, sometimes even late October, and lasting all the way through to typically early April. Now, the snow certainly has come down in the state of Montana every single month of the year at some point or another, but typically we won't see it until October, and at least those summer or early fall or mid-fall snowstorms don't stick around too long. I know that I, growing up here, had more than one Halloween costume over the years that had to fit over a snowsuit. The mountains will certainly see more snowfall in higher elevations than you'll see in the valley, but you can expect snow to be a regular occurrence throughout that extended winter season. Now, that also means that the roads are going to be affected by that snow and freezing temperatures as well. Ennis averages about 60 inches of snow per year, compared to the 400 inches per year that you can find in the mountains nearby. The coldest month of January sees an average high temperature of 36 degrees and an average low of 17. And of course, the area is well known to have at least one cold snap each winter, sometime in January or February, where temperatures, even in the daytime, can reach well below zero. But it does usually only last a few days. All in all, having a car that is well equipped to handle wintry roads is essential around Montana. Plan ahead, get some good winter tires, and even an all-wheel drive car if you can. All that winter weather can be a lot for some folks who don't care for the cold. But for those of us who ski, snowboard, or snowmobile, it's an absolute winter wonderland. Now, with all this talk about snow, the climate here actually is typically on the drier side. We don't tend to see high humidity, and even the snow itself tends to have a lower moisture content, which of course creates amazing powder days on the slopes. Now, summertime in Ennis is absolutely beautiful as well, and it's pretty mild overall. In July, the average high is 86 degrees and the average low is 50. But it is worth noting that in late summer, that dryness and lack of humidity or significant precipitation can be somewhat of a concern, as we sometimes do run into fire season. Sometimes it's smoke from other areas, it can even be from neighboring states or up in Canada that gets blown in. Other times it's more localized and there can be nearby forest fires as well. Either way, that dry heat can also be difficult, and the air quality can sometimes suffer from that smoke. So that pretty much sums up all of those pros and cons and things that you need to know before moving to Ennis, Montana. Of course, I've got plenty of other videos covering all those different communities and small towns all over Southwest Montana and the Gallatin Valley. Now, if you want to watch more right now, this is a playlist that is loaded with all of the best videos all about Ennis, Montana and the Madison Valley. So you can learn more, explore the different areas, neighborhoods, and downtown. My full vlog tour, it's in there too. And until next time, I hope to show you around.